Hey everyone, it's been a really long time since I've updated everything, but I thought that now would be a good time to share some information with you about how classes, language classes, regular classes, all of those work here at Yonsei as an exchange student. I've gotten a few questions on my YouTube and on my Tumblr about this, and so I thought it'd be easiest to answer them in a video. I just got a question yesterday that really kind of summarize what most people have been asking, so I'm just going to read that to you and then I will answer it, and that'll be all for today. So yeah. So this is from Hello Topsy Turvy, and she asked, I have a question for you. How difficult were the classes at Yonsei? Were they taught primarily in English or Korean? And did you find it difficult to adjust to their teaching/grading style, if any difference? I've been looking forward to studying here, but I want to know more about the classroom setting. So for me personally, I am in beginning level 3, and so in the Yonsei, I have one of them here, in the Yonsei textbooks that puts you in like the 2 system. So they have 6 total of these books, so I'm in 2, so I'm not halfway through yet. So next semester I'll be in 3. Yeah, so because I'm in that, I don't take any classes in Korean. You are able as an exchange student, if you test above a certain level, you have to test, you are able to take classes in Korean. But as a student that clearly cannot speak fluent Korean, I'm not able to take Korean classes, so everything I will talk about has to do with the English classes that you can take as students. So what you can take as an exchange student, I guess I should mention I'm here as an exchange student with a program, and you can also do direct exchange with your university, and you can do study abroad. But there's a difference between that and if you directly enroll in the Korean Language Institute. So what I'm talking about is if you enroll as an exchange student at the university and not as a student that enrolls at the language institution. Because if you enroll at the language institution, your options for classes are different, and as is what language class you take, so I really can't address that because I don't have any experience with it. So I'm specifically talking about what happens when you're enrolled as an exchange student at the university. And so for me, I could take any class that was offered in English, so long as it wasn't a business class, because I'm not a business major, and I think there was one other stipulation, but I could pretty much take anything offered in English, and there's a lot of options for that. You just have to be careful because sometimes on the portal website it will say that the class is offered in Korean, but or in English, but it's actually taught in Korean. So some people have shown up the first week of classes only to find out that it wasn't actually offered in English and they had to change their schedule. So that can be a little frustrating. So what I suggest is if you have any concerns, if the syllabus maybe isn't showing in English or it doesn't seem like it will be in English, you can send that teacher an email or the international office an email and ask them, and they can give you a definite answer and make sure that you won't face any problems. So you also asked, did I find it difficult to adjust to their teaching, grading styles, if any difference? This would depend on the class. Now I have all of my classes are taught by Korean professors, but one of my teachers is Korean American. He's Korean, he lived in America for 10 years, high school age, and then came back. And he has a more, I feel like, American teaching style. He's also an anthropology instructor, and so he tends to teach in more of what I consider a liberal arts American education style. And so the grading is very similar. He's very upfront about exactly what is required of you from the first day of class. We knew everything we would have to do. Whereas I have a literature class I'm taking with a Korean professor that is half Korean students and half study abroad students, I would say. And it's been a lot less clear. And so I do think that if you have a Korean instructor who is always taught in Korea and that doesn't necessarily have some experience with the English American education system, then you will find some differences, but I wouldn't say it's impossible to work through them. However, it's definitely different in that office hours aren't the same. It's not as regular for students here to attend office hours, and also emails are not necessarily treated with the same manner. So the teacher kind of expects you to just understand what they expect of you and you to fulfill it completely, and there's not always the same give and take that I find at my home university, but I wouldn't say it's bad. It's been okay. I've had a few little problems, but mostly after talking to the professor or to the international office, I've been able to work through those. Also, there is a difference in the different kinds of English taught classes you can take here. So there are the study abroad courses, which are only available to study abroad students. So you will be with all foreign students in those classes, which I'm taking a Korean grammar class and a ethnography class that is of that nature. So all the students are foreign and the teachers are more They teach, I feel like, in a more Western system in that way, because they know that it's all foreign students, and so they try to cater the syllabus and the grading to suit that. Whereas my literature class is a regular class, it's just taught in English. So with that class, we have a less Western style. So depending on what kind of class you take, I don't think it's that hard to adjust, but I definitely think that it's really important in the first week or two of classes to make sure your teacher explains the grading system to the class, and if you have any questions about it, ask them very soon. That way there won't be any confusion when the time comes later for finals or midterms. Yeah, so I definitely don't think it's that much different. Every university, every teacher is a little different no matter what you do. So I think it's the same thing here. You just have to see what that teacher is like and do your best to adapt to the situation. Yeah, so that's the question that they had. If you guys have any other questions for me about the class style, I can do my best to answer them. The classes I've taken so far are the Korean language class, Korean ethnography, Tolkien fantasy literature, and Korean grammar for international learners. And so I liked all of these classes a lot so far. The literature class is a lot of work, and the Korean professor expects a lot of us, so it is very time consuming, so definitely consider that if you're thinking about taking it. And I just want to say one note on the Korean language system. So in previous semesters, as I said, I'm in beginning 3, which means that I'm doing part 1 of this series, so 2-1 is the books that we're working on. But next semester, study abroad students will only be able to take the afternoon class, which is a 2-hour session every day of the week, whereas before we had the option to take either the 4-hour morning class or the 2-hour afternoon class. The 4-hour morning class only covered the entire level 2 book or level 3 book in one semester, whereas the afternoon class only covers 2-1 or 2-2, depending on what level you're in. However, they've decided that study abroad exchange students will no longer be able to take the morning class and will only be taking the afternoon class. But the afternoon class will be going a lot faster, and we will be covering a whole level in one semester. So I will be doing some self-studying before next semester so I can move up to the next level and not have to repeat this level. But I think that's important to note. So if you really want to go fast, have a longer class, you can't enroll as an exchange student if you want to do the morning session. You'll have to enroll directly to the Korean Language Institute, which you can do through their website in English, and then you'll be a student of their institute rather than a general exchange student. And so if you do that, you'll be able to take the morning class, but I personally believe that the afternoon class is fine. It's a good amount of time, 2 hours. You have reading 2 days a week, and then you have speaking and listening 3 days a week. So I think that the setup is really good, and I've so far learned a lot. So I just want to let you know, so if you're starting from spring 2013 on, the afternoon session will be divided into 6 levels, and so each level will correspond to a level of the Yonsei series textbooks. And the morning session is just, divided in the same way, but you have a 4-hour class, and the semester is a bit shorter than the actual semester. Yeah, so that's all I have to say. This video is going to be a lot longer than I wanted it to be, but I hope that I answered any questions that you might have had. If you have any other questions, just let me know. And that's all. So I actually have to go to Korean class, so I'll talk to you all later. Bye!